climbing through myself, out of my childhood and through my adulthood and into this new piece that I found. But there's a little bone I'd like you to throw me.
Can you hear clearly? Interesting words, climbing through my childhood.
Climbing up out of this life and into this place that I've been looking for.
Yeah. We like the poetic nature of that tragedy.
Thank you. It's been a personal crusade. You've been elemental to the changes that I put forth, and I'd like to take that last step, and I'd like to finish getting out of the way of myself.
Well, here's the thing. We're really eager to visit with you, and you'll feel movement for sure. And we don't want this to disappoint you, but there's no last step.
That's what I was kind of hoping you were going to say.
And you really don't want there to ever be a last step, because calibration is so much fun. That's the satisfaction of life, to reach for something that isn't, and then feel it into being, and then witness the cooperation of the universe confirming your alignment. Ooh, that's why you keep coming back. You want more of that. Yeah.
I still have fear that I know who I am. I have fear that the things that I've attracted to me are true and correct. I still have fear that holds me back from giving myself fully to what's ahead of me.
Well, good. So we can feel the intentionality that you offered that statement to us, and we want to address it with equal power. Fear is guidance, and fear every single time is saying your inner being disagrees with you. So what you just said is, I have strong beliefs about myself that my inner being disagrees with. That's what you just said. Who do you think we're going to side with? Who do you think we think is right?
Well, I think in the end we're talking to the same person.
So when you feel fear, it's those things you've picked up along your physical trail that seemed real, that you didn't want to be real, that you don't want to be real, that keep being real. And it's hard to deny what manifests. But you got to understand that the thing that prevents you from moving to who you really are and what you really want is looking at what is. What is the enemy of more. Your memory is really hard on future. And so those like you who like to think, who like to ponder, who like to consider, who like to evaluate, who just can't stop it, you make it harder on yourself than it needs to be. But that same trait of focusing, which is the creative tool, the focus is the creative tool. So it will serve you or not serve you, but it's the same tool. It's like you can build a house with a hammer, you can tear a house down with a hammer. Same tool. Not the best analogy, but actually it's a terrible analogy. Never use it again. But you get the point. And so,
no more excuses.
Well, what is an excuse anyway?
So far it's been a reason not to move forward.
But you see, just because you're articulating a vibrational propensity with words, we want to get right to the heart of something. We want to say, let's coin a new word together, a new phrase together, vibrational excuse. It's a vibrational excuse. Because you've got vibrational excuses whether you say them out loud or not. How many times are you in a situation where you really want to say something but you hold back?
That's a new skill I've learned.
For politeness, it's not a skill, it's a curse. Because it's a lie. And because it confuses things. And because it makes you believe in words instead of in vibration. A vibrational excuse is just a vibration that contradicts desire. A vibrational excuse isn't an excuse, a rather clearly formed ball of resistance. I've gathered this up and I use it anytime I need it to explain why what I really want hasn't come about yet. It's just a habit of thought. So just diffuse it. A belief is just a thought I continue to think. But be nice to yourself when you say that. A belief is just a thought that the law of attraction continues to bring to me, because the law of attraction, bugger that it is is responding to my vibration. In other words, law of attraction is the reason that beliefs continue to be perpetuated. So you have to start at some general place where it's easier to let go of the pieces that don't fit. Do you know a specific excuse is much more problematic than a general one? Because a general excuse is younger, it's newer, it doesn't have the momentum. So the difference between specific and general, let's start it the other way. The difference between general and specific is that the more specific you are, the more momentum there is, because it took more attention to cause the specifics and the momentum. Does that make sense? So you can reverse that. If you've got something that's not working for you, you can begin to generalize it. You can begin to diffuse it. You usually can't let go of it altogether because of the momentum of it and because law of attraction's got hold of it. So you want to talk specifically about an excuse that you would like to let go of, and we can play with it together, or do you want to just do it on your own?
My excuse is that I want to hold on to some last vestiges of ego. I feel that...
Oh, we want you to too. We want you to too, because your ego is so misunderstood.
Well, I mean the negative parts. The parts that want, that still want validation outside of me, instead of coming from within.
But here's the thing, this is why this is tricky. Is it wrong for you to want to thrive?
I feel like I've been taught that.
But is it wrong for you to want to thrive?
No.
Can you help others thrive from a place of not thriving?
No.
Not that you're assigned to helping anybody do anything, but we're appealing to your altruistic, imperfect upbringing.
I have great intent to help a lot more in my life, so...
So, is thriving good or bad?
It's good.
Let's say you tune. Life has caused you, and even the life you lived before you got here, to create a vibrational reality that is full of manifestational potential. And your inner being is there in the midst of that, focused only upon that, and attracting on your behalf to that. That's your calling. That's your inner being rooting for your thriving in every aspect. And when you deny it, because someone who wasn't thriving didn't understand what thriving really is, and so they made excuses about the benefits of not thriving, and you bought into that. Have you ever met somebody impoverished and not thriving who helped anybody do anything other than complain? So here's your inner being over here, thriving and thriving on your behalf, having gathered all the cooperative components to you, and you denying, you don't let yourself go there because everybody else hasn't already gone to their point of thriving.
I'm still imitating the people that came before me.
Almost everybody does, but not all of them. Masters have found a way around that resistance. Thrivers have found a way around that resistance. Joyful people have found a way around that resistance. But what is required is you have to let go of what others think, because they don't know. They couldn't possibly understand your point of attraction. They are evaluating your point of attraction through their point of attraction. Esther bought a new house. It cost a lot of money. Much of the world would be critical of her living in a house that cost that much money. So she doesn't invite them to live with her. And she knows that she can't get sick enough to help sick people get well, or poor enough to help poor people become prosperous. And that her thriving deprives no one of thriving. In fact, the only thing it does is set an example of what thriving is. And some people, right up close to her, they suffer when they see the intensity of that thriving. Because when they see the intensity of that thriving, it activates within them the comparison between their lack of thriving and someone else's thriving. You see, this is the thing that's so interesting. Oh, we're having a wonderful time here with you. You are natural calibrators. That's what you do. You seek harmony and harmonics all the time. You just got to decide what you want to harmonize with. Do you want to harmonize with the best of you or the pinched off version of you? Do you want to harmonize with thriving or suffering? Do you want to harmonize with wellness or sickness? Do you want to harmonize with clarity or confusion? Because it's your choice all day, every day. And most humans would say, they're wrong about this. They're wrong about this for about 5 reasons that we'll tell you in a minute. They're wrong about this because most people tend to harmonize with lack of thriving because it's altruistic. They think it is more spiritual. It's not either one of those. They think that it's better for humanity. It really isn't. But they do it because they care what others think, and they meet up with more people that harmonize with them over complaining about what's wrong than who harmonize with them over basking in what is going well. Now, what's wrong with all of that, when we say most people, is that there is so much more thriving and so much more well-being out there in the world. Just the fact that your sun comes up every morning puts your thriving into a category that clearly wipes out every single thing that you think is going wrong today. Your news outlets go all around the world looking for trouble spots and pinpointing them and highlighting them and amplifying them, and then bring them into your living rooms as if they are anything but that much of a blip in the scheme of things. If the true lack of thriving were indicated on your television screen as you're watching some news report, or as you're watching television, let's say you're watching television all day long, you never turn it off, you're just watching it, and at some point during the day there's a zzz, like a zzz. What was that? Well, that was a representation of all the not well-being on the planet today, zzz, in comparison with the other 24 hours of perfect broadcasting of beautiful things, you see. And so you are like most people. You have let conscientious, well-meaning people that are trying to evaluate what's up with life based upon their observation of manifestations only, who have made every decision about their future based upon what is, so that their future ekes out minuscule improvements, because what is so rampant in their vibration that they can barely let it go. So every day is a new day, different faces, different places, just the same old stuff, because you keep observing what is instead of letting what is be the bouncing off place for who you really are and what you really want.